What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction. In this, we have Friendly Jordies talking about the situation Trump has bombed Iran. Before we dive in, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you'd like to support the channel further, in the description section there's a premium request link, there's a Patreon request link. Hit either link, make a suggestion. Let's see what we got.
Damn, did you see what happened? The sequel to Iraq's coming out. And I can't believe it. What?
Oh, the heavens. That's how we started the video. They said, man, did you see it? The sequel to Iraq's coming out. We know what happened over there when we ain't find them weapons of mass destruction.
Wasn't Iraq already a sequel to Iraq? It's been a long time between drinks, hasn't it? Well, in case you don't know, and I'm assuming you must have come back from a meditation retreat just now, the United States has just done a tactical strike of Iran. And this was quite opportune as well, I've got to say, because recently they were saying that they had nothing to do with Israel's strike on Iran, despite the fact that they had okayed the strike by Israel and gave them all the means to do it. But now, no, they're using their own bombers, and they are hitting very sensitive Iranian military targets. That's a huge escalation. Why are they doing it? Well, obviously, I'm not in the Pentagon, and if I was, I wouldn't be telling you guys because I'd lose my job, but because I'm not, I think that what we can guess is that whatever Israel wants, Israel gets. That's probably just to take it from now. But also, why does Israel want that? Don't you think?
Low key, if it do be feel like whatever Israel wants, Israel's gets, and we gonna be. It's like we the muscle. We the muscle for Israel. Like we here. You feel me? What y'all want, Israel? Give them what they want, or else. But yeah, I just want to first off disclaimer. I don't know all the information. I'm not in the seat as the leader of the country. I don't have all the information that he gets. I don't know the situation, the circumstances, the factors that went into making that decision. All I can do is put my trust in hope that it was the right decision, and if not, I don't know.
If we just zoom out to the whole region for a second, if you look at Israel's pattern recently, so there was a regime change in Syria that has Mossad's prints all over it. There was attacks on Lebanon. I mean, obviously, there's the whole Palestine situation, which might I say is just crazy. But why are they doing it all now? This is something that I think that we will be looking into on this channel further, which is the decline of the US empire. Terrifying stuff. It's a very scary time to be alive. I'm telling you now, I didn't think it was going to happen until I was in my 60s and at least had a house or something, but now it seems like it's just going into free fall. Thank you very much, President Trump. But obviously, you know, I think now if I look back at it, my geography teacher in year 12 was right. It was Iraq that kind of created this whole snowball effect. But if you look at Israel's calculation from here on in, I think that what they've realized is, one, their current strikes on Gaza have evaporated any goodwill that they have in the public globally. As the United States. This has never happened before, but if you look at the opinion polls on Israel in the United States, absolutely in the toilet for our generation, even the oldies. And they've got 50 years of being propagandized into what an incredible nation state it is. They're not on their side anymore. No one is. And this is just
because this generation in the world now, where like the entire world is at your fingertips, like information, like that. So you can't just, they can't, the media and the government, they can't just control the media to come on the news and tell you this is why this happened. These are the bad guys. These are the good guys. They can't spin it because you have all the information right there. You have information from the sources, from the horse's mouth. You have information from people over there in the actual situation. So there's so much information out there, you can't just like spin it exactly how you want anymore. and I feel like that's why this generation, like those poll numbers were what they were.
Going down like one of the Milo kids in Threadbow. It's just on a free slope, all the way down. So I think that they've realized, okay, well, we can't really rely on American support for two reasons at this point. One, because at some point, the popularity of us is just going to tip over to an irreversible point, and I'm guessing it'd probably be the Democrats, it could be the Republicans, who knows, but one of those two major parties will take advantage of that popular sentiment, and they will start acting against us. So that's their first concern. The second concern is the United States is just overspent as a military force. I mean, really, what is their territory? The entire globe at this point? That is a lot of area to command. We've all tried to be too ambitious in StarCraft before. It's not a good thing to do.
I mean, you saw what happened with the British Empire, you feel me? But, hell, I always thought, I guess in my head, like it was like a good thing to have a military presence kind of all over the world because you could react to situations in a moment's notice. But when he puts it like that, and you're kind of like spread thin, that's also a very good point because it does feel like they got bases literally almost all over the world.
And so they have that problem to deal with, which is superpower turning against us, not now, but like if you look at the mid-range, definitely, and also on top of that, probably just won't have the capability to defend us in the capacity that it used to before. And so also on top of this, it's kind of just got to this showdown state with the remnants of Palestine, where I think that their main objective now is to just push them all out if they can. And then the next phase after that is, well, we need to have an exclusion zone around us to protect us from all of our neighbors that hate our guts and have since our beginning. And I think that that is their calculation, to create this exclusionary zone. So if you're creating an exclusionary zone, what are your two objectives there? Well, the first one obviously would be to put in puppet governments that support you. Failing that, if you can't, like in Syria, for instance, what do? You destabilize the country. Kind of like what happened in Iraq. I think Iraq was unintentional, but Syria was absolutely, that was just regime change 101 right there. Yeah. So they are now just a basket case nation. I think that they're going to be doing exactly the same thing to their other nations. And obviously the strongest in the region that is vehemently opposed against the Israeli state has been Iran. And will continue to be so after these affairs. And so I think that they kind of realize we need a different leader in Iran. And if we can't have another leader in Iran, then it needs to be like Iraq. That's from their perspective. Yeah? I think that what is happening now is that they are trying to get regime change on the cheap. Obviously, the United States doesn't want to have boots on the ground in Iran because there must be clear heads there. I know that there is conflict between the Pentagon and generals in the Middle East, as in generals in the Middle East are saying, what are you doing sucking us into a second Iraq? And the Pentagon saying, no, it'll be fine, we got robots this time. So maybe from the Pentagon's calculation, they're thinking, if this turns
it'll be fine, we got robots this time,
into a full-scale invasion, this is going to be way less intensive than it was with Iraq. And then I think, obviously, the people that are actually in the Middle East are saying this is going to be an absolute disaster because there was a reason they didn't go after Iran the first time with the axis of evil, right? Like, this isn't Iraq. This is a way more advanced civilization that has a way more entrenched bureaucracy, way more sophisticated society that's set together. And on top of that, even if they do push them out and it turns into guerrilla warfare, their opposition is going to be way more resourced than it would have been in Iraq. And so that is going to be a quagmire that is going to be way harder to solve than Iraq ever was. I mean, solved in inverted commas. And someone up there must be aware of that because it didn't happen in 2003. Now they're doing it. So what is the calculation from America's perspective?
I don't know what. I'm intrigued to see what the calculation is from America's perspective. He kind of told me Iran's perspective a little bit, I don't know exactly what's gonna happen, but if you can tell me the reasoning for America making this move, this is what I need to know.
I think one, it's just, as always, the Israeli lobby captures the entire US political force. And so they are always bent to the will of whatever the Netanyahu government wants. So that's the first thing that they have to deal with. The second thing that I think is actually really important when you think about it from like long-term strategy with the United States. I think they see what the rest of us clearly see. And again, this is another reason why we will be doing a series on the decline of the US empire, because that is huge ramifications for the entire world. It will change the world entirely. Who knows for the better or worse? Who knows? But what we do know is it definitely is happening. And I'm sure that there is some copium happening in the White House and in the Pentagon, but there must be hard heads that are aware that no, China is on the ascension and they are absolutely blitzing us. And everything that we've ever done to try and contain China has actually just made them expand more because we've put more pressure on them and they have more of a resilient state because it's more totalitarian. So they can kind of just divert their resources into making their weakness their strength, right?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say just China's on the rise. Those are other countries that are kind of starting to rise in influence and rise in power economically, resources. Of course, right now America still is at the top, but he's saying there's a decline that's happening. And things he's saying the world's power, the order of the world is about to shift. We don't know what that shift is going to look like, but things are starting to shift.
So I think that the Americans now have realized our only bet from here on in is control of the entire energy supply system, or as much as we possibly can, to incur China's growth as much as we can. Now, this is what Ali from the podcast, you can go check it out. He had a really good analogy about this with Athens back in the day. And by back in the day, you know, you remember the good old days, BC era. But Athens was a spent military force as well. It bit off more than it could chew. It had too many of these proxy wars happening at once. And so, very similar scenario. You had the democracy, you had the Athenian agoge come together, and then they were just talking about what they're going to do about this. So obviously there was a political faction that was saying we need to start reducing our military presence in places, and we need to start becoming more defensive as a state. And then the other one was saying, no, let's go for gold, let's invade Sicily. And then the other faction was saying, are you insane? We're spent as it is, and we're going to go invade Sicily, which is bigger than our entire empire combined. How are we going to do that? Anyway, somehow they managed to cobble together the 500 boats that they needed. It was an absolute abject failure, and that led to the complete and utter decline of the Athenian empire. And I think that we are experiencing a very similar dynamic that is happening to the United States now, where they are thinking, this is our last hope. We have to invade Sicily. That's it. That's our only option here. Because if we're able to do that, if we are able to just control all of the, the fossil fuel trade throughout the world, not only can we deny resources to China, this will buffer up what is becoming, like in Athens, a state that is getting buoyed more and more by debt. It is honestly, I think, and let me know if you have any counter opinions here and counter theories, because again, like, you know, I've heard other ones. I've read about other reasons that the United States might be interested in Iran all of a sudden, to this degree, that they are actually looking like they're escalating into a hot war. That one to me seems the most plausible. Anyway, I've got some live shows and they're about aliens. And you can go look at those. I think there's ones in Canberra and Sydney, Melbourne. They're all on sale now. Links below. Get yourself a Kevin07 shirt. Why not? Remember the good old days? Simpler times. I'll see you next time.
Y'all talk to me in the comment section and let me know what y'all think for the reason that you guys agree with FriendlyJordies. Do you think there was another reason? Do you think it was about trying to get a regime change? Do you think it's about trying to control fossil fuels to stop China's growth? Or what do y'all think? If you enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, check out the